Welcome back to Safety Blitz, starring two-time Super Bowl champ Rodney Harrison, Jack Collinsworth. We'll call this third and short, 3 rapid-fire questions. We'll get straight into number 1. A single word, one word to describe Coach Gase with the Jets. His tenure with the Jets, how would you describe it?
I would say waste. Wasted.
I think a waste is pretty good. Why waste?
Because it's just like they wasted time. Like, no one thought that Adam Gase was the right guy for the Jets job. Like, everybody was stunned. Like, why are they hiring him? You see what he just did in Miami? So I thought it was a waste of time because now they're back in the same situation that they're in now. They can't find anyone to develop Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it was between mistake, disaster, you name it. Even from the opening press conference, something looked like it was up. Something looked very off about the whole situation. It has played out just like that since. You almost hope that Sam Darnold's career doesn't get caught in the whitewash here, and he's done too, but there's probably some possibility of that as well. Our second question, the best fit to coach the Jacksonville Jags, who would that be, assuming for the sake of this argument that they would have Trevor Lawrence as well?
Oh, definitely. I would say Eric Bieniemy is a guy. You saw the work that he did with Patrick Mahomes in the background out there in Kansas City. And this is a guy that I played with. He's a good person. He works extremely hard. He's extremely passionate. And, you know, Andy Reid is a very meticulous guy. He's not going to have Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator if this guy wasn't sharp, if he wasn't bright, and if he wasn't on time. So I like Eric Bieniemy, and I think he should get a legitimate chance. I know they're talking about, what's Urban Meyer? He hasn't. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. Urban Meyer or Eric Bieniemy, a guy that helped develop Patrick Mahomes. It's not even close. It's not. I'm giving this young. And you got to understand, too, Eric Bieniemy, how old is Urban Meyer? 56? Maybe?
Right around
56
there.
56 years old? So, yeah, something like that. But I think, you know, Eric Bieniemy, he's been around a lot of these young guys. He knows how to develop. And I just think that he would be a great fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll see.
I think Bieniemy's number 1, too. He's going to be up for a handful of these jobs. You have to anticipate. Houston probably will want him to come in and coach Watson. The Jets may want him to come coach Darnold or whoever else they may go draft. I think he's going to be candidate number 1 for a whole bunch of these jobs. If they can't get Bieniemy, maybe Joe Brady would be an interesting guy to bring in there. The success that he had with Joe Burrow, kind of young on young, if you will. I think he'd be able to have that same kind of success with Trevor Lawrence, assuming that is who they end up going with. Brian Daboll is another one. If they can't get Bieniemy, Daboll going there, he just showed you what he could do year 1, 2, and 3 with Josh Allen. It would be pretty interesting to see him go down there with the Jags, too. For Urban Meyer's purposes, there's such a difference between being a great recruiter and being a great NFL coach, where you just got to be able to win these one-possession games. I don't know that Urban Meyer's skill set would translate perfectly apples to apples to the NFL like people are thinking. Am I crazy for thinking that? I mean, it seems like NFL coach and college coach, 2 totally different things to me.
Absolutely not. I mean, you're dealing with college kids that, you know, they're looking for Pell Grants and things like that. You look in the National Football League, these guys are making millions. They're looking at you like, man, I make more money than you. What are you talking about? So, yeah, you're spot on with that.
All right, cool. Number 3, the biggest disappointment, it's an interesting one. The biggest disappointment of this NFL season, now that we're through Week 17, was what?
I would probably say the Raiders. At one point, the Raiders were 6-3. They had beat the Chiefs, they beat the Saints, and they beat the Browns. And, you know, Carr was playing outstanding. Everybody said he was a top 10 quarterback. And then all of a sudden, that loss to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, everything spiraled down. They fell apart. And then second straight year, they failed to make the playoffs.
That's a good one. That's tough to compete with. The Chargers probably high on a lot of people's list, too. Philly, another one that's got to be high on people's list with what happened. I mean, people were so high on Wentz. Wentz falls apart. Dallas, after what happened to Dak Prescott, that one probably gets a pass. San Francisco probably gets a bit of a pass based on what's happened via injuries. Atlanta, I mean, that's really fallen apart in a big, big way. Houston, even with Watson and, you know, getting rid of their coach throughout the course of the year, that's a tough year. And the other one that I probably finished with, too, New England, the Patriots. How high would New England be on your disappointed list this year?
Well, just I would be more disappointed that they didn't go out and get enough talent, and I was more disappointed with Cam Newton than anything because I was really one of those guys that came out and get Cam Newton, sign Cam Newton. He's hungry. He's going to do the right thing. He's going to show you a level of maturity. And then all of a sudden, he had that big game against Seattle, and all of a sudden he forgot how to throw the football. And then when you see him throwing, he's far off. He's throwing the ball into the ground. And then all of a sudden you get to a point, week 17, and you just say, you know what? The Patriots need a new quarterback because Cam, he can't play. He can't throw the football. So,
yeah,
pretty high and pretty
there
disappointing,
we go.
Jack.
I think he's pretty high on the disappointing list there, too. We'll see what happens with Cam. That's one of the more up-in-the-air futures. I mean, it is an up-in-the-air future before this.
You think he starts again? You think he starts again?
I'm going to say not next year unless somebody gets hurt where he would go into the game because it was a toss-up whether or not he was going to get a starting job prior to this year. It took New England being the last team willing to give him a chance and basically did so for no money, and that didn't work out. Typically, that translates into a backup job after all of that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.